Hello and welcome back to Behind the Screen. I'm your host, Sinbad, aka Isaac, whatever you want to call me, that's cool. Today is a little different. We usually have a guest, and recently we've had the same guest, which is HN Films. HN Films is now my co-host, just to clear the air, but HM Films is a good friend, and of course we'll be having him back. But this is a solo pod. If you can recall, the true behind the screeners remember the first, I would say first two pods, but one of them I don't think I initially released. The first podcast episode of Behind the Screen was a solo. I don't think it worked that well. I didn't really enjoy doing it. I think I talked about a couple of things. I talked about 28 years later. I talked about The Materialist. I think I previewed the fourth season of The Bear. And we also got a new, a sequel to 20 Years Later coming out next week, which I do hope we can do a pod on. Have some potential guests, some guests fans are familiar with. Today, I want to go through a lot of topics, rapid fire, just going through them, not spending too much time, because a podcast is really, if it's more than one person, it's like a good podcast should be a conversation, right? Between two people or more, you just feel like you're in the room with them, and hopefully, the conversations have been interesting so far. I think the more, I'm gonna get a little meta here at the beginning. I think the more the podcast goes on, the better it's going to be. You know, we are, what are we? Is this the ninth? I think this is the ninth episode. I am going to check to make sure it is the ninth episode of this podcast officially. I mean, you know, there's some things. Yeah, it is the ninth episode. And also the first episode is not on YouTube. It's the solo pod. It's not on YouTube. The reason why is because, well, I didn't feel like it needed effort. No one wanted to listen to that. I didn't want to listen to it again. Maybe it's a little but yeah, I don't think anyone is interested in that. But yeah, this is the ninth episode. I think we are getting better with time. And if you are listening, we're going to go through a lot of topics, or I am going to go through a lot of topics today. There are going to be timestamps because you're not going to be interested probably in everything that's here. If you were interested in every single thing that is here, you should be in the pod. We need you. I need you. I'm talking like I'm fucking Venom. It's I, not we. So we're going to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about some politics. Yes, controversial politics. It's not going to be a super serious thing. I don't know. I've never done political commentary. I'm going to try to keep it light. I'm not going to go in some like deep thing. A lot of crazy shit is happening right now in the politics world. I feel like I'm pride myself in being pretty up to date on things. You know, I'm not like reading deep into Ohio congressional District 12 polls, but you know, I feel like I got a finger on the pulse, I would say. So we're gonna go a little into that. It won't be that much though. We're gonna talk about the Golden Globes, of course, which were last night. There's a lot to talk about that, from how the show was, who won, who didn't win, you know, what does it mean for the Oscars, so I'll get into that if you guys are interested, because I do follow award season. I wouldn't say, some people take it really, really seriously, and, you know, that could be an issue where you're just like, it's like a sport to you, and this is all you care about. When you watch a movie, you're like, oh, this is gonna win this, oh, no way, no, it's not gonna win that, like, that kind of thing. It can get harmful, I guess. Not harmful, but you know, like, it's an art form, it's not a sport. But I do find award season fun to follow. And then us like sickos on here looking at updating like the fucking Orlando Film Awards, Orlando Critics Film Awards. And then it's on this big stage on the Golden Globes and the Oscars and that kind of thing. So that's fun. But yeah, we'll get into that. And we're also going to talk about, there's some like weekly shows I'm watching. Maybe, you know, just like a rundown, see like, maybe you guys will find some recommendations from me and go check them out. So we're going to talk about that. I did want to cover one thing, one final thoughts. The final thoughts on Stranger Things. We have done a lot of podcasts on Stranger Things. I promise that's not the only thing I care about. I care about lots of things. Stranger Things did feel a little special though, however, but it's over now. But I'm gonna give some thoughts on some things that have been happening. So look out for that. And I'm gonna give a brief rundown of some of my most anticipated shows of the year. I'm gonna try to say things about them, not just like make a list and just like run them down. I'm gonna try to say something like why I'm interested in this, maybe it'll be on your guys' radar. We'll see, Might look good, I think that mostly covers it. Oh, and we'll end it off me talking about the NFL playoffs. That's right. I'm also into sports, which I feel like this is going to be something that very few people tuning into the podcast, which is already very few people. If I had to guess, how many people at least listen to the first 10 minutes of most of my podcasts? It's got to be three. Three people, I would guess. I don't know though. If you are listening to this right now, because I don't know if editing will cut some stuff out, but we are approaching the 10-minute mark. So if you are watching this, let me know. I want to know. I want to know who's listening. I want to know. So tell me, please. There was some guy. I want to listen to the fans. I'm gonna pride myself in listening to the fans. And there was someone in the comments that's been commenting about Stranger Things, this and that. I don't think listen to they just see the title and give their thoughts on Stranger Things. But that guy, I'm not gonna find your name, but you know who you are. Tell me if you're actually listening. I want to know. I'm interested. I assume he's an HN Films fan, cause that's basically, unless they're one of my friends, I mean that's who's gonna be listening. HN Films fans. We're hoping to get as many of them as possible. And then maybe more. We want this to be a big pod. On TikTok, been posting some clips. I think a clip about Byler when we talked about Mike Wheeler and Will Byers having a potential relationship. I think got some decent traction, mostly because Byler was exploding. It was a huge trend. Who knows what will happen post Stranger Things? I want to let you guys know. I hope we get one weekly podcast, and they won't be solo. I don't want most of them to be solo, because I think it's better when it's not solo. You get a conversation. It could be more interesting. I don't know what interesting is for me just speaking into the void that I'm doing right now. But yeah, there was some other feedback on the show, like me talking about politics. Someone said, we need behind the screens opinion on politics, and here we are. We are going to give, I am going to give my opinions on all things. Don't worry, everything will come to play. I think I should start with the Golden Globes, which happened last night. It was a long broadcast. It went from 6 p.m. my time to 9:30. It ran longer than the Patriots Chargers game, which seemed boring anyways. I don't think I missed out much. I was gonna watch, but it seemed like a real snooze regardless, so didn't feel bad for it taking longer than that game. It was a long broadcast. It felt long. I'm gonna give my initial thoughts of like the actual broadcast before everything else. Nikki Glazer was hosting again. I think she hosted last year. It may have been another award show. I'm not fact checking. I just remember Nikki Glazer. Yeah, she was good, and she was a good again. This here at their opening monologue was pretty funny, and some bits in between after that. But when I think back on that broadcast last night, I think about a lot of things I was not a fan of. I think about how they have these like play-by-play commentators. The weird reporter variety guy who's always commenting weird things or asking weird questions to people, and his voice just creeps me out. Maybe I'm just ableist. Let me know if you think I'm ableist in the comments. I want to know. It was just weird. I don't think they said anything interesting. I think it could have been cooler if it was like, I don't know, Amanda Dobbins and Sean Fennessy on the big picture. I think that'd be really cool. You bring podcasts into this year? How about you let one of the regular guys podcast and do a commentary? Could be fun. I think it could work. It's not like anyone knows those two people anyways. They might see their faces and see one of the, yeah, I think I saw that guy on TV once. But like, do people really care who those people are? No, you can put whoever you want. Might as well put people on with a fan base, like the Big Picture podcast, the biggest movie podcast. I think it could be cool. But that didn't happen, obviously. The commentary, not interesting at all. And they were also, seemingly, Paramount CBS was partnered with Kalshi, where you can bet on pretty much anything. Like the Golden Globes, like, is America going to invade Greenland? All that kind of stuff. It's all there. Is Jerome Powell going to get fired, even though he can't get fired? Who knows? You can bet anything. And I don't like betting, I don't like promoting betting in any scenario. I think you can bet. I think, cool. If you want to do that, do that. I bet sometimes. I actually bet at the Emmys, last year's Emmys, that Noah Wiley would win Best Actor. He was not the favorite. I think he had like 40% chance, and I betted on it and won. So I like betting sometimes. I don't think it's inherently a bad thing to bet. I think it could be very harmful. And what I really don't like is promoting the betting. I don't think it should be promoted on anything, especially when you're doing promotion about betting on the award show that the betting is about. So that was really annoying. But also it was kind of funny. All the they would show like examples. Like K-pop Demon Hunters has 80% chance to win Best Original Song. And they showed some others, and they were all very close races. They didn't show like the closer races, like maybe Best Supporting Actress in a film. It was very close. I didn't check, but I know it's a close race between Amy Madigan for Weapons and Tiana Taylor for One Battle for Another. But yeah, they only showed the, like, if you bet on this, you're stupid ones. I didn't like it at all. It seemed very dumb. There was also another dumb thing I didn't realize. I was checking Twitter and saw that they reported that Ludwig Göransson won Best Score for Sinners at the Golden Globes. I did not see this. No one was watching saw this on screen. They're like, when was this? Did we miss this? That's because they showed it during commercial. I don't know why this happened. Was this intentional? Was this a mistake? I don't care about the award. If it's slated for the Golden Globes, it should be shown. It doesn't even matter if you guys are time constrained. Do less commercials, right? If it's that bad, maybe you mismanaged. Maybe you need to do less commercials then. I don't know the reasoning for this. It just seems bad. It's not good. Like, it doesn't matter the award. It should be shown. If you're gonna make it shown, be shown. If you're gonna do an off day, I know the Emmys do like the daytime awards because there's just so many awards. Do that if you're gonna do it. I wouldn't like that for best score. I think that's a major award that deserves a platform. But just doing it off screen is not the right move. I did not like that at all. I thought the Sinner's score was incredible, by the way. And I did watch Ludwig's speech, and it was pretty great. I don't understand why they would do this. It feels weird. I would like a statement from the Golden Globe, like, Academy or whatever for this. Because yeah, it just felt gross. Like, just show it. Like, what are we doing? And the thing with the Golden Globes is they've been infamous for kind of the worst of the big award shows. You got the Emmys, you got the Oscars, you got the Grammys, and you got the Golden Globes. It's kind of the big four, and there's the Golden Globes. Because the Golden Globes has been kind of weird. Before they had a committee that people didn't really understand what the committee was made of. Who was choosing what was winning what? It kind of seemed like it was just a bunch of old rich people doing like the politics of award shows and just picking, like politicky awards. Like maybe hey, Ridley Scott deserves this win because he hasn't won in a long time. That kind of thing. More than just like watching off of the merit of the movies. I mean, award shows have always had this politicky thing, but I don't feel like it wasn't as major as it was with the Golden Globes. However, they did change. There was some like I think there's some discrimination allegations and this and that kind of thing, and they changed their committee. We still don't really know who's in the committee, but it seems like it's more like the other award shows. And I thought the Golden Globes last year were pretty great. I don't remember any shenanigans from the presentation last year. I remember Nikki Glaser was really funny, and I was ecstatic when Bradley Corbet won for Best Director. There was also the Amelia Perez part, but Amelia Perez was involved in every award show last year. It couldn't be avoided. There were duds, obviously, but I thought the Golden Globes last year were pretty great, you know? And then, yeah, like Brady Corbet won for The Brutalist, but then The Brutalist won Best Drama, and I was stunned. I was like, what? There's no way. And in all fairness, looking back, the competition was not great. But yeah, that felt like it was a really great win. And for the actual awards, I think it started off with a bang with Teyana Taylor winning Best supporting actress in a film, and Teyana Taylor won over. It was basically between her, I feel, and Amy Madigan for Weapons. And I predicted Amy Madigan to win, but I was ecstatic that Teyana Taylor won for one battle after another. I thought her performance in one battle was incredible. And when they announced that she won, she just started bursting into tears before she even walked up the stage. It was a very emotional speech. I loved the speech, and I was very happy for her. That was the first award, and it kind of felt like the best part of the entire award show. There were some great moments. I loved Paul Thomas Anderson won quite a few awards. He won for best director, best screenplay. I don't know if that's for musical or comedy or drama, but I think he won for best screenplay. The awards for the Golden Globes have always confused me a bit because some are like musical or comedy sections. Some of them are just like overall. It's kind of confusing. I think they should just do it for the like best film drama, best film, motion, musical or comedy, and then best TV, that. But then after that, like, are we doing best actor, musical or comedy? It's confusing. Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson won for best screenplay and best director. I think he first won for best screenplay, which I thought was a great speech. How he pointed out Adam Sandler, of course he worked with him in Punch Drunk Love, and he's talking about how great writers steal, and how he stole from, Thomas Pynchon, and how he stole from Nina Simone, saying he stole the line, no freedom, no fear, that kind of stuff. I thought it was a really excellent speech. The funny thing is, when it usually happens with directors. Writer-directors. They'll win like multiple awards in a one night, and it's interesting. Like, do you prepare for two different speeches? What do you talk about when you have an additional speech? Like, it's hard to say what are you supposed to talk about in each one. Because then he won for best director, and this one was really great too. The thing is, producers don't really matter, but also he shouted out Michael DeLuca, who was in tears when they showed him on screen, and and PTA shouted him out. It was pretty emotional, actually. Like, I don't really care about producers; they don't make the movies. Though DeLuca has stood by PTA, and he gave him so much money for one battle after another, and risked his career ending. There were rumors that David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers, was going to kick DeLuca and Pam Abdi out, which had been leading the film division at Warner Brothers, because there were a couple flops. That kind of changed with Minecraft, And then Sinners and Weapons and all that, they did excellent. That could have changed, but yeah, I could see why it's emotional because he pretty much put his career on the line so one battle after another could win. That deserves celebrating, and it was cool that he was so happy for PTA in this moment. It was a great speech, I felt. And then there was, of course, and then one battle, one for best motion picture, musical, or comedy. And that speech, I think PTA didn't really talk. I think it was one of the producers who talked. One of the things I really hate is for award shows, the best of the film, whatever. Usually the one to speak is a producer. I just never liked that. I know they are a part of the win, but they are not the person who should be speaking. I really like when producers are very brief and then they let others speak. I think that happened a little with Sinners. Some controversial stuff with Sinners because people who don't really engage with the award season have been getting a little passionate about what Sinners hasn't been winning so far this award season, or not so far. Just in the Critics' Choice Awards, when Timothy Chalamet won for Best Actor over Michael B. Jordan, even though Michael B. Jordan was not the second choice. Michael B. Jordan, great performance in Sinners. This award season is not going to be considered for any Oscars. But Sinners won tonight or last night Best Original Score, Best Box Office Achievement. I think that's it. I think it won two. The Box Office Achievement Award, that award, was where the producer talked, but then they gave time for Kugler to talk. I think it could have been a little more generous because it kind of like yapped off about whatever. But yeah, that was a cool moment. A big shocker for the night for me was Hamnet winning Best Film Drama, mostly because I felt like I thought Secret Agent was kind of climbing up the ranks and actually kind of replaced where Hamnet was, because I feel like if you're gonna do like Best Picture power rankings, I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but we're gonna have one battle at one, and then two was Hamnet. And then that it was Hamnet, and then I thought maybe it's actually Secret Agent because it's getting a lot of awards. International films have done better recently, especially Brazil. Big body in the Academy is Brazilians. But then Hamnet wins tonight, and it does feel like this means that Hamnet really is the number 2 choice, and then it's Secret Agent. Who knows how the actual Oscars will go, because also the Academy does have more of an international audience than the Golden Globes do, even though the Golden Globes do have a large international audience. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I really wanted Chase Infinity to win Best Female Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. I also predicted that she would win. It actually ended up being Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I don't think this means anything for her chances for the Oscars, though. I think she has a very high chance to win an Academy Award. I would really love Chase Infinity to win. I think she had the best performance in one battle after another. Rose Byrne was good in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. She's obviously been an actress for a long time, so she deserves recognition. It just might not be Chase Infinity's year. Not yet. Like first years, I don't know. Usually doesn't work out. But I don't know. I have a feeling Chase Infinity, I feel like she's gonna win. I don't know. It's just a feeling I have. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong. I also predicted Leo to win for one battle over Timothy Chalamet from Marty Supreme. Timothy won. I don't care about this either. I'll happily accept either of those scenarios. So that was good. I was pretty shocked that Stellan Skarsgård won with Sentimental Value over Benicio del Toro for one battle. I guess I can't give one battle everything. It was interesting because Benicio has been winning every award at the award shows, and it's interesting that he lost at the Golden Globes. I think it probably has to do with the international audience, which could play into the Oscars. So I feel like Benicio has been like, yeah, he's gonna win the Oscar, but maybe not. Maybe he won't because of the international audience. I don't know. I'm not gonna make a call now, but it is definitely interesting. For the TV awards, which seem to care less about. I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of movies. Obviously, this award show is mostly like for what it means for the Oscars. I think Emmys is the TV award show, not the Golden Globes, but it's fun to see. Maybe we can look at the potential landscape of shows that will qualify for next year's Emmys. Of course, The Pit dominated, The Studio dominated, Adolescence dominated. I think there was an open race. There was an open race. There was Best Female Actor in a Limited Series. And this race was wide open. You have Michelle Williams for Dying for Sets, haven't seen. Claire Danes for The Beast in Me, haven't seen. Rashida Jones for Black Mirror, have seen. Amanda Seyfried for Long Bright River, saw like 2 episodes. Sarah Snook, All Her Fault, did see. Robin Wright, The Girlfriend, saw a couple episodes. This is a wide open race. I looked at this before the awards. I was like, I have no clue who's gonna win because I feel like this is wide open. It could be anyone. It ended up being Michelle Williams, who wasn't even there to accept the award, which is very funny. I thought it was gonna be Sarah Snook maybe because of Succession, but yeah, that was a weird race. Everything else for TV was mostly expected. There was Best Supporting Female Actor on Television. I thought it was gonna be Hannah Einbinder for Hacks. It actually ended up being Aaron Doherty for Adolescence, who was like the therapist in Adolescence. The only take I really have on the TV side of these awards were like, it was very expected. There was no really surprises, and it kind of there was not like a lot of variety, so like The Studio won Best TV Series, or I mean musical or comedy TV series. Like, what if instead of Seth Rogen winning Best Male Actor in a TV series, musical or comedy, what if they gave it to like Glenn Powell for Chad Powers, or something like that? I don't know. That's like a very nitpicky complaint though, because that's more of a problem with the Emmys than the Golden Globes, So of course I was very excited for Ray Seahorn to finally win any award for her, which she didn't win any awards for Better Call Saul, but she has won one for season 1 of Pluribus. Which is interesting, she kind of emerged as the favorite over Britt Lauer for Severance. I think it's because this kind of politicky award. I think you can tell it's politicky because this Pluribus did not get any other nominations whatsoever. It came very late, granted. A big presence of these Golden Globes was Heated Rivalry, the insanely popular TV show. And technically, I think it did qualify for the Golden Globes, and season 1 will not qualify for the next Golden Globes, because I think it ended on like New Year's Eve or whatever. Obviously, by that point, not as many people had watched it, and also they probably already submitted their ballots for the Golden Globes. So it's just some unfortunate timing. I wouldn't say unfortunate because I really wouldn't want Heated Rivalry to take away all the awards that the Pit won. But yeah, there was like the 2 actors for Heated Rivalry came on stage. There were some bits. They mentioned Heated Rivalry throughout the broadcast a lot of times. I thought the show was decent. It's like fun. It's not that good though. And it feels like, I'm not sure when I'm going to talk about Heated Rivalry again, so I'll just say this. I feel like a lot of the conversation around the show, when it's a show about 2 queer men, is centered around women fetishizing them. I would call it fetishizing, because they're just talking, ooh, I love 2 men having sex and all that. It's not really about the show. It's just something I'm annoyed by, This isn't really a queer show. It's a show for women. Straight women. So, I feel like we should say what it is. Stop celebrating this as some queer representation, because it really isn't. It's written by a woman who writes smut. So I thought the show had good parts though. I think that's mostly to do with the showrunner, who's written some other shows I haven't seen but I know are considered good, like Letterkenny, stuff like that. So I think like stuff towards the end of the first season, I think has potential. But all the conversation is just about sets, and I don't think the sets in the show was even that good. And people are like, oh, it's so explicit. It's not explicit. I've seen way worse. I've seen worse on like Shameless. But yeah, I'm kind of done with the Heated Rivalry craze. So, anyways, we'll recap the segment on that. The Academy Awards are still like 2 months away. I think it should be closer. That is the biggest award leading up to that, but I think we got the Screen Actor Guild Awards, some others. It feels like we should really close the gap between the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards. It's kind of ridiculous how long we still have of this award season. But yeah, if I had to rate the broadcast, I rate it like 6 out of 10. I'll probably watch it again. It's just like after last year, I really thought it was gonna be good again, and it really wasn't. I think a lot had to do with Paramount / CBS, owned by the Ellison family. Just a lot of bad stuff happened to CBS. Happening with CBS. I feel like we should pivot into the politics section. A couple of things have happened. Obviously, the United States invaded Venezuela and took away their leader, Maduro. I don't know the first name. I'm not like a political commentator. Nicolas Maduro. And that was crazy, right? That was crazy. There was also the very controversial ICE shooting, where an ICE officer gunned down a woman by the name of Renee Good, I think, in Minnesota. I think it was. And there's like multiple videos of that incident, and I don't know where to take this. I'm not sure I want to be too serious, and everyone listening to this probably knows as much as I do. I don't know if I have any valuable insight into this, but I did see like CBS News was like kind of doing like trying to spin it as like we got there was like a segment where they're like talking about how ICE agents do their job and stuff. Like I thought it was overblown when they said CBS News is going to become propaganda for the Trump administration. But I feel like it's even more propaganda than Fox News is. Trump didn't tell Fox News to glaze him. They willingly glaze him. So it's a little different. And sometimes I think Fox News isn't really interested in the average person that maybe leans left. Like maybe they can turn them. Like, no, they don't care about that. They got their audience. They're happy with their audience. They don't really need to increase their audience. They're happy with what they have. Now Barry Weiss is the new head of CBS News and kind of has been talking about how they're gonna make it more fair to both sides. All that, BS. We all know it's BS. That's both sides. It's more like, yeah, we're going to become a mouthpiece for the Trump administration. And their propaganda is more subtle. They'll be talking like, oh, we got to support the troops. But we're just going to say, this is what the troops do. Oh, ICE agents. They're not criminals. We're going to show that by showing, oh, this is how they do their jobs. Fox News will just be like, I haven't watched Fox News lately. I actually do like watching it. Just like, it's entertaining to see how they speak. But I assume they're saying stuff like every liberal is a terrorist to the state, stuff like that. You're not gonna see that on CBS News. Not at least not yet. Their Fox News' audience wants them to just fucking go into it with the liberals. Oh, they hate fucking liberals. So just please just insult them every single day because that's what we want. CBS News is kind of like, they're not so bad. Trump, he's not so bad. And stuff like that. So it's interesting to see the contrast because I just feel like CBS News is a much more harmful propagandizing tool for the administration. And I'll be interested to see how far it goes. And so far, it's just CBS News. Also, during the not to rewind, but it does relate to this. There was a CBS News commercial during the Golden Globes, and there was like there was like one snapshot of Benjamin Netanyahu in one of the commercials. Like, okay, that's great. Yeah, this is gonna go great. So I'll be interested to see how far CBS News can take this. The ICE shooting was a tragedy, obviously. I don't know if I have much to say about it other than that. It was terrible, and it doesn't really feel like, unsurprisingly, Republicans are standing where they are. They're not going to take an approach, I feel, like, oh, they're just a bad apple. Like, at least feel like politicians did with the George Floyd incident. It is more like, if you're against ICE, you're a terrorist and a traitor to the state. And, I don't know how far this is going to go. We're only about a year since Trump was sworn in as president. So who knows how far this will go? I guess we're going to see, because we got a long 3 years ahead of us. And so we can move on from that. I'm not going to ponder too much on politics. In the future, I do want to do more politics. For sure, I want to do an entire episode on the primaries, maybe even a primary preview with guests. I would like to do that. It doesn't mean it will happen, but it would be cool if it did. So, that's what I gotta say about that. So just like a rundown on shows I'm watching right now, mostly weekly. I usually try to have like a binge, like an old show I haven't watched before. That doesn't always happen though. The Pit season 2 came back. Episode 1 released. There have been a lot of opinions on this Pit season. It's mostly like these chronically online losers who have these headcanons and who every character is. They spent the last 6-7 months just fucking reading AO3. So they have all these headcanons and who the characters are, even though they aren't. And then they get disappointed when the versions of those headcanons are not on screen. And there's also a lot of conspiracies about Noah Wiley. And it's just ridiculous how he's like this like racist person, this terrible ego-driven person, all this stuff that has like no proof. A lot of it I think came from like Dr. Collins not being in the show anymore. But I think this, it wasn't about that, Who knows what it was about? No one knows. They don't know. I don't know. So it feels weird to just like make a conspiracy like, oh, what if Noe Wiley is just like a big asshole? Like, whoa, what if, it's stupid. It's all this like morality, grandstanding, and it's just so annoying. But I enjoyed the first episode of The Pit season 2. I did watch all of season 1 weekly. It's slow so far, but like it's one episode out of 15 episodes, I think. So I would like some podcast episodes with guests about that show this season. We'll see if it happens. I would love to do that though. The Follow is a show I'm kind of watching. I watched season 1 when it came out. It was like dropped all episodes at once. Season 2 has been a weekly drop, and I kind of forgot about it because of Stranger Things. I've only watched the first episode of season 2. So I actually don't have much to say about it. I do want to catch up this week. I think there are like 4 episodes out. There's like half the season out at this point. Haven't heard much. I think the reason I haven't watched is because I haven't like rushed myself to go get going. It's because I haven't heard. No one has said anything about this season. I wonder why that is. Is it disappointing? Is it not? Who knows? Another show I'm watching is Landman season 2. This show is ridiculous. I think the latest episode came out last night. Haven't had time to watch, a lot of stuff happening right now. But Landman is becoming more and more like the show I always thought it was. Or people are realizing it's becoming the show that I always knew it was. At first we were like, oh yeah, this is like a, really great show. I never thought it was really great. I thought it was really entertaining. It's kind of like if Friday Night Lights was bad. I would say like Friday Night Lights season 2, which was not that good, but it was still entertaining. It was a fun mess. Like in the latest episode, basically, so Billy Bob Thornton is the protagonist. His dad is played by Sam Elliott, and his dad has some mobility issues as he gets older, but he's refusing to really like do rehab to get better because he's like, oh, I'm just suicidal. I just want to die already. All that kind of stuff. So his dad gets an idea to hit up a strip club, hire a stripper to basically be his dad's rehab therapist to motivate him. This is such a stupid plot, but it really captures why the show is entertaining because it is so ridiculous. And then so she's doing like, and then she accepts it. And they do water therapy in the swimming pool for hours. And she's just in her underwear. Like, who would do therapy, even for some money, like, for 5 hours? It's just really ridiculous. But I'm really enjoying it. I look forward to watching Landman every week. Because you never know how much more stupid it can get. The only other show right now is Industry, which just premiered the season 4 premiere last night. This is an HBO Sunday night show, and not many people are watching it. It is excellent. I haven't checked out the season 4 premiere yet, but season 3 is just an incredible season of television. People just gotta watch this show. It's incredible. Every season is so unique. It has kept evolving, And I'm excited to check season 4 out because it seems like it's gonna feel like a different show, maybe, even if it doesn't. The way season 3 ended, it felt like, yeah. I am finishing up my rewatch, so I haven't gotten a chance to see the season 4 premiere, but I'll get to it probably today. But this is an excellent show that more people need to watch. I wish more people were watching, so I am really excited for that. I wanted to talk about Stranger Things one last time. We're gonna have more Stranger Things pods, of course. Way down the line, I actually would love doing a rewatch pod of each season of Stranger Things. I think that'd be really fun. But we'll see what happens. But I just feel like I'm really disappointed in the fan base of Stranger Things. They've always been kind of annoying, but like I can set aside that because when it comes down to it, we're gonna celebrate the show. Even if we see things, that's not really what the show is about, I can put that aside because we get to celebrate the show like season 4 we did, and season 3, and season 5. Listen, I know it was disappointing, but the fans have been acting like there was nothing to enjoy. Like they have created a theory. We kind of talked about it on the previous pod. Conformity Gate, where they believed there's a secret 9th episode that's going to actually show that Vecna manipulated the finale. Everything there was fake. Mike didn't get a right to the ending. None of this happened. And of course, that didn't happen. I think some people still genuinely believe it's gonna happen, guys. Trust me, it's gonna happen. Of course, it didn't. I think Conformity Gate made them like choose to ignore the good things in the finale. I just feel like as fans, like, I know the finale is disappointing, but there was a lot to celebrate. I feel like we haven't really been able to celebrate the accomplishment of Stranger Things. Maybe you guys think I'm glazing here. Listen, I have heard from the fans. Some fans said, yeah, I was listening to the pod, but you guys were just like glazing Stranger Things too much. Like, I have criticism for Stranger Things. I don't really like to ponder on them. I don't like to ponder on the criticisms I have for any show, but I do have criticisms for Stranger Things, especially season 5. They wasted our time with a lot of crap, which I talked about extensively on the last pod. I even called the Duffers hacks, which, it was the heat of the moment. I was mad at the Duffers. I still am mad at the Duffers for how they've acted. But I love the show, despite the flaws. I know this isn't fucking Mad Men level. Am I gonna put it in my top 4 shows, even though I really know the quality, how much time they put in the details of the show, all this stuff? I know they don't, but I don't care. Because when it comes down to it, TV shows really only need 2 things, or like 1 thing. They need emotions. They need characters. They need to make you care about the characters. This is basically all you need for any show, even sitcoms. If you care about the characters, they're probably going to be funny. Usually you get that, and for sitcoms, you get people to care about the characters by making them funny. So, it kind of works both ways. And Stranger Things, it's not my favorite show of all time, but overall, the way it has been able to make me care about every single character, basically. Even season 5, which was like the worst season, I really liked Holly as a character. People said they wasted screen time with her. You know what? I'm okay with it because I really liked Holly as a character. I kind of talked about it a bit, like the scene with her and Matt's and Escape from Camazotz. It went on too long. I agree, but it made me really emotional. I feel like Holly's journey this season was really great. So like, there's other problems. Sure, this final season looked like crap. They didn't really have a true direction. They ignored so many things. The finale was incredibly underwhelming. But, these things don't matter at the end of the day to me. Because at the end of the day, it's about the characters. And the epilogue was excellent. I've seen people criticize some of the scenes in the epilogue. I have not seen one criticism for the final scene, but they're all talking about this finale was the worst thing ever. Was it the best thing? Of course not. But there is no bad finale. Where the final scene was actually amazing. Bad finales, the main, people focus on the final scene. Even that final scene is not the worst scene in the episode. Like the final scene of Dexter Season 8. Not the worst scene of that episode, just a bad finale. I feel like Game of Thrones, it was more like those last couple episodes kind of flowed in being terrible. But with Stranger Things, no one's really talking about the final scene. If they are talking about the final scene, it's people that love it and like the finale. All the criticisms I see are just plot holes. And, calling the plot holes isn't generous. It's mostly things like, that didn't really matter. It didn't matter. And if you cared about these things, you would complain with every season of the show, but you aren't. Even season 1 has these like similar plot holes, so-called plot holes that you guys are complaining about. I think if you just like sat down, watched the finale with your own opinion, I think you'd be surprised that, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe like, has some bad things, but it's not terrible. I don't know. I just want to give some final thoughts on Stranger Things. I think the reaction from the fans has felt like I thought it was going to be a mess when this show ended. And I'm really not, because like, I'm just relieved that I don't really have to speak to these fans again. There was a behind the scenes documentary that were released today. I'm actually excited to watch this. They said it was inspired by like the Lord of the Rings documentaries, which are really great. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that will be. So yeah. So my most anticipated shows of this year. I'm gonna go through a couple, not that many. There are a lot of shows I'm really excited for, but the highlights I think are Euphoria season 3. Season 3 is shot with VistaVision cameras. First two seasons were shot on film. Does a show need to be shot on VistaVision? No, but am I very excited that it is? Yes. Sam Levinson, kind of a mixed bag for me. But Euphoria is his baby, and he takes care of it very well. I am so excited for what a beautiful, glorious mess season 3 of Euphoria is going to be. I cannot wait. Those characters, they're scattered all over America. Maybe just the state of California. I heard like somewhere in Europe or whatever. I am so excited for this. I can't put into words how excited I am. I love season 2. I love season 2 even more than season 1, even though a lot of people hated season 2. Did it not give as many characters stuff to do? Maybe. But the filmmaking is excellent. The character arts that did have character arcs, probably more mature than they were in season 1. Except, I don't know. Not all of them. The mixed bag, but I really can't wait. HBO. We're going from Industry, season 4, to Night of the Seven Kingdoms, season 1, which is like during Industry. I think it's like in the 30-minute HBO time slot, which is interesting. And then we got Euphoria season 3. I don't remember. There's more after that too. I just forgot what they are. I'm really excited for this final season of The Boys. It's gonna have Jared Padalecki, Jensen Ackles, Misha Collins, the Supernatural boys together. I cannot wait. Just give me tons of fan service scenes with those three together. I don't care. This is the final season. Season 4, disappointing in ways, but they really hit the finale. The season 3 finale was really disappointing with a banger season. So hopefully season 5 can be the most well-rounded since season 1 or 2. I'm really excited for it. I hope it's good. I hope it's not underwhelming like Stranger Things season 5 was. So I'm really excited. Daredevil Born Again season 2. I thought season 1 ended excellent. So I'd really like to see what happens when they continue from that end of season 1. Out of the Seven Kingdoms, of course, I'm excited for. I've read the novellas or books. Don't remember much, which I'm kind of glad for, but they are very good. Lanterns, the show ran by Damon Lindelof. I don't care what it is. If Damon Lindelof is show running a show, I am going to be there and watching. This guy created Lost, The Leftovers, Watchmen, and the Peacock original, Mrs. Davis, which wasn't great, but it had highlights. And yeah, I think if Damon Lindelof is involved in the show, for me, it's going to be worth it to at least check it out. Some new show. There's a bunch of other shows. Beef season 2, of course I'm excited for. Which finally got dated. I've been waiting, I thought it was going to be this last year. Then it wasn't. Mike Flanagan's Carrie. I guess he's doing this I think he's doing this instead of Clayface. The DC movie this year. I'm sat for a Mike Flanagan TV show anytime. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting TV this year. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we cover on the pod, how this pod grows. Yeah, in this final segment, probably virtually no one is going to care, but I'm going to talk about the NFL playoffs. The NFL wildcard round was this weekend, which is not actually over as we're recording. There is a game tonight, which I don't really care about anyways, the Texans-Steelers game. Whoever wins that game is going to lose next week anyway, so who cares, right? Who cares? It started on Saturday with Rams-Panthers. Banger. I really wanted the Panthers to win. because I hate the Rams. And I've always rooted for Bryce Young, the little guy. He's got a lot of heart. I want him to do well. But he just absolutely choked on the Panthers' final drive. It was like, it felt like flashbacks when Jimmy Garoppolo was on my team, the 49ers, and you'd see final drives in the playoffs against the Rams in a divisional round, and he's just like shit the bed every damn time. It just felt like one of Jimmy Garoppolo's drives where he just panics and can't find anyone open, or he's overthrowing receivers, and yeah, it was not good. But yeah, wish the Panthers could have been them. And then we had absolute banger: Bears, Caleb Williams versus Packers, Jordan Love. This game was boring at first, but the fourth quarter, the Bears were down 21-3 with like 10 minutes left. And they made a miraculous comeback. And I've always rooted for Caleb Williams, another one of my guys, where like he's gonna be really, really good, I think. And he made an incredible comeback. People have been saying like, oh, he didn't have that good of a game. He fucking won. That's all that matters at the end of the day. The only thing that matters is the W. If the first 3 quarters can go terribly, but if you win the game, no one actually cares. No one cares the Falcons were up 28-3 on the Patriots, because what they remember from that game is the comeback. They don't remember the third quarter when the Falcons scored their 4th touchdown of the game. Like, they don't. So it's just stupid. I'm really rooting for Caleb Williams. The Rams are going to be playing, not the Rams. The Bears are going to be playing the Rams. I hope he can keep it going, that'd be really nice. And then there was the Bills-Jaguars game, which I didn't get a chance to watch. I think I caught the end of it on radio. That was a really close game too. And then my team played the Eagles yesterday. Nerve-wracking game, messy game. I did not really expect us to win because our defense is awful. Our offense is banged up, but hanging in there. And we won the game like 23-19. It was an ugly game. The defense stood up. I was so proud of our defense in this game. A bunch of third stringers just fucking grinding. Just gained those tackles. They got some really, really good tackles. Like, damn, this guy was like a janitor last year, and he's just like swiping Saquon Barkley down. And it's always great to beat the Eagles. Hate their fans, hate the team. I hate Jalen Hurts. I hate Nick Sirianni. I hate Jalen Carter. I hate that entire team. And it's always satisfying to beat them. On to the next one, as they say. We play the Seahawks next week, which we lost 10-3. Literally a week, like 10 days ago, we lost 10-3 to the Seattle. I do think when a rematch is a good thing, I think statistically you could say the team that lost in a rematch, if you go that close, is like close together between the games, is more likely going to win. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that game goes. I'm not sure if we lose, I'm gonna be that devastated, because I don't have high expectations for this Niners team. But I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't like the feeling creeping in too much because I don't want to get too much hope. But this feels like the scrappiest we've ever been. We're like really motivated to win. But I'm not trying to get my hopes up too high because the Seattle team is just way better all around. We really shouldn't be winning games, but we are somehow. And Justin Herbert lost to the Patriots. Herbert, no playoff wins still. I always root for Herbert. One of my guys, and it's not working for him. It's not really his fault. I see a lot of Chargers fans, like, they just lost a game. They're going to be emotional. But like, oh, we're done. We're done with Justin Herbert. All this crap. And, I think it's going to be like a Matthew Stafford situation. Eventually, he's going to get on another team, and he's going to win a Super Bowl the first year. I just have a feeling. But the Niners I think the Super Bowl is going to be easier than the journey to it. Like Eagles, Seahawks, and probably, if I had to guess, Rams, Rams probably beat the Bears. I wouldn't want that, but, it's probably going to happen. Like playing Eagles, Seahawks, Rams, and the Super Bowl is probably, even if it's the Bills, I feel like that game is going to be easier than the previous games. So, we'll see what happens. I hope we win, because I don't want to lose to Seattle. The first of the 2 teams I don't want to lose the most, Rams and Seahawks. And that's not just because those are the 2 teams that are most likely to beat us. It's just I hate them. There's no one no other fan base I talk to lose to them. Maybe other than the Eagles, because the Eagles fans really suck. But there's no other fan base where I just, like, after a loss, like, which fan base? Yeah, Seattle and Los Angeles Nothing less. I really don't want to lose to them, and we're probably going to lose to at least one of them. I just don't really see a Super Bowl this year. The team is too banged up. They're just like, I mean, if we make it to the NFC Championship, we get Fred Warner back, which is an upgrade, but the team's so banged up. If we can really scrap and fight our way to a Super Bowl, as long as we win it, I'd be happy. Don't get to the Super Bowl and just lose again. I cannot take a third Super Bowl loss. I know Vikings and Bills fans took like 5 straight Super Bowl losses, but I can't take it. I can't take another one. I really can't. Like, if you're gonna get to the Super Bowl, just fucking win. So that's why I gotta say, rapid fire pod, an hour and 12 we're looking at before editing. Longer than I was expecting for a solo pod. Some meta thoughts after recording this pod. My throat hurts. It's killing me. There's a lot of talking for me. But I think practice makes perfect, doesn't it? Tell me if you're still listening. I want to do a test. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, comment below what movie this year, because I did not do most anticipated films in this podcast. What movie this year do you want to see covered the most on Behind the Screen? If you are still listening right now, let me know in the Spotify or YouTube comments. If you're listening on Apple, just run to YouTube, give a little comment, and tell me which movie you like to see the most. You can also, if you're in the Discord, which I should probably link in the YouTube description at this point, you can also tell me there if you listen to the entire thing. You know, you can ping me and say, you know, like Dune Part 3 or, you know, Toy Story 6. But we'll see you next time. Hopefully next week. Who knows what we're going to cover? It might not be next week that soon, but very soon. Hope you enjoyed the pod. Solo pod. Don't know how I did, but please let me know. And behind the screeners, we will see you next time. Have a great day.